Today we go over a super easy technique that will really help you calm down from stress, and you can do it anywhere. So today was a little bit different than usual of my usual videos. I did an interview, so exciting, but I interviewed Simon Cheng of Pique Tea, and he shared his really fascinating health story where he's had health issues from like his 20s and 30s and how he really kind of recovered from them, as well as medicinal breathwork that he used then and still uses to this day as a way to really calm the adrenals and get rid of that cortisol levels and all of the kind of things that really kind of happen with us with chronic stress. So in this interview, Simon shares his story and then shares with us how to do this technique. And it was really easy. I was kind of nervous during the interview, but I was doing it along with him and I felt so much better afterwards. So it's definitely something I'm going to be adding to my repertoire. And I really think it's something that you should look into too. So here's the interview. All right, I think we are live now. I am here today with Simon Cheng of Pique Tea, which, hi Simon. Welcome to have you.
It's great to be here.
I'm really excited about having Simon here today because this is something a little different than I've not done with any of my Facebook Lives or YouTube videos yet. And it's interviewing inspiring people that like I feel like I can tell you what I know and the experiences that I've had, but I can't really tell you what other people have had. And it's really great to get other perspectives from other people to see their healing journey and just get ideas of things that they have used to make themselves feel better. And Simon has a fascinating story. So I'm really excited to share that with you today. Simon, just so you know, my audience typically has either one or more autoimmune diseases or chronic health conditions that they're really kind of managing via diet and lifestyle. So I think your story and the medicinal breathwork that you're going to share with us is going to fit in perfectly with my audience. So I'm really excited for that. So why don't I go ahead and have you give us your backstory on your health issues and how you went ahead and got rid of them or solved them or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, most definitely. So in my 20s, I went through about 10 years of really terrible health where I was, probably on 2 to 3 courses of antibiotics every year. The first thing I suffered from was kind of constant respiratory infections, sinus, throat, lungs. I was living in Hong Kong and working about 18-hour days at the time. And I actually got very severe acne at the same time. So it was between, the respiratory infections and the skin infections, it was just nonstop antibiotics. And all the while I would see the doctor and get prescribed these medications, which also included steroid creams. And I always thought that it was making me healthier and better. But little did I know it really wasn't. So both my lungs ended up collapsing. So I had to get operations in both. There are staples in both my lungs. And then on my 30th birthday, I was diagnosed with sleep apnea, which is another kind of respiratory disease where your airways become too relaxed when you sleep and become constricted. So you basically suffocate. And again, the doctor said, well, Simon, you're young. You should go get the operation. It's going to be great. And I did. Foolishly, I listened to them. And it was described much more simplistically than it actually turned out to be. They removed huge amounts of the tissue inside my mouth and the throat. It's called the soft palate. They shrunk my nasal turbinates. And worst of all, they put a screw in my jaw to shift the entire position of my tongue forward so that it would not obstruct the airways. Well, after the operation, which I was told had an 85% chance of success, it was a complete failure, and my sleep apnea was even worse due to all of the scar tissue that was created. And to add insult to injury, I also got a jawbone infection from the screw, so I had to be on 2 months of intravenous antibiotics. This is broad spectrum, like very powerful stuff going into my heart valve, which I self-administered. And it was that or sit in a kind of a chemotherapy clinic for 3 hours a day. And so that was the completely very most traumatic health experience I had to date. And it was at the same time a massive wake-up call. It was like, wow, like Simon, like what are you doing to yourself? Like how could you be like, obviously, like what you're doing is not wrong. Like how could you be so blind to not see it after like a decade? And that was at the same moment the worst thing that happened and the best thing that happened, because it woke me up and I completely did a 180 in my life. I quit my job. I decided to give up my career in finance, and I spent 2 years just going very, very deep into Eastern approaches to health and wellness. I delved into Qigong meditation, and I went all around the region, to Indonesia, to Tibet, Yunnan, Shanghai, Singapore. I was living in Hong Kong at the time, so it was easy. And since then, I've even traveled all around North America, finding the best Qigong masters to learn from. And I've since become, a certified teacher. And the second thing I did was really delve into the plants, the medicinal plants, and all over those areas. I also sought out the leading plant doctors, TCM doctors, to be healed by and really to learn from. And so it was really those two things, medicinal plants and medicinal breathwork, that completely changed my life. And that really was part and parcel of the inspiration to start Pique, because I realized that there was so much wisdom and so much value in what I had learned and experienced that I really wanted to share it with the world. And I come from a fairly quantitative and analytical background. I studied Chinese history at Harvard. So, doing kind of very in-depth amounts of research and going to the source of things, they call it primary sources, was really, what I was trained to do. And so bringing that level of quantitative and analytical rigor to our products, to quantify everything, to screen everything for toxins, became very important to what I do now at Pique. And it actually, the way that I came across the tea crystal, which we have is kind of our mainstay product, is really, I was in Yunnan province, which is all the way in the western part of China, next to it's in the Himalayas, so it's next to Tibet. And it's the place where tea first originated. It's the oldest tea tree there is actually 3,000 years old. I've visited it. And the natives there, they're indigenous tribe people that have a way of turning tea into a medicine called tea paste, or cha gao. And what they do is that they take the leaves there, which are exceptionally high in polyphenols. It's from a special type of tea tree. So pu'er tea is from there. And they boil it in these big pots, right on the floor with firewood. And after they've extracted everything from the leaves into the water, they remove the leaves and they just keep boiling that water till it's totally reduced into a resinous, a sticky paste. It's like, imagine you reduced a stock until there's just a paste left behind. And then they'd scrape it up and eat it, or they would put it in water to dissolve it. When I saw it, I was like, wow, that is amazing, because it's taken the extremely complicated and lengthy process out of brewing pu'er tea into this format that anyone can access. And obviously plants was, the kind of single common denominator of everything that I had learned about using medicinal plants. Tea was. And so I thought that, this is something that I have to bring to the world, to the Western world, where people are strapped for time. So that's kind of how everything came about.
Wow, that's pretty fascinating and interesting. And it's great how, like, my approach too is to kind of figure things out on your own as well. Use the information that you have available to you, but then also try to go search and find things that work for you. So it sounds like you're kind of in line with that as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, because everyone has a different body. And I think being able to be sensitized enough to listen to it, to listen to what it's telling you and respond appropriately is absolutely critical. Like, a lot of people ask me, oh, why don't you do this product and that product? And, this is so trendy now. Well, the answer is that not all products are suitable for everyone. Tea happens to be the lowest common denominator. Billions of people drink tea every day and they're fine. And even then, some people have adverse reactions to it, but the vast majority of people drink tea and reap amazing benefits. And so, being able to listen to your body is so key.
Yeah. And I do have to mention too to my audience that tea is typically autoimmune paleo friendly, which is great too, because on autoimmune paleo, you cannot have coffee. So when not being able to drink that drink, tea is a wonderful alternative as well. So just had to mention that for my audience. So do you want to go ahead and give us a little bit of an overview of this medicinal breathwork that really helped you?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just dive into the point that you just made about tea and why it's paleo friendly. Tea is such a fascinating plant because it contains a wide range of different active ingredients. Caffeine is obviously one of them that everybody knows about. The other one is antioxidants, but those antioxidants can be broken down into a pretty wide spectrum. There are black tea antioxidants, there are green tea antioxidants, there are even white tea antioxidants, and they all have different health benefits. Green tea polyphenols, as they're called, catechins, are generally much better for supporting immune function, whereas black tea antioxidants, they're called flavonols. It's what actually gives black tea the black color. They're much better for things like digestion and gut health, and supporting healthy cardiovascular function. But more important than that even is that there are certain elements in tea that calm you or stimulate you. Now, caffeine is obviously a stimulant, but you have, on the other hand, an amino acid called L-theanine, which has now been coined nature's Xanax because it calms you. Now, imagine a plant compound that has both caffeine and this L-theanine, which is a calming agent. That's why people that have, that respond badly to stress or to stimulants like caffeine can still respond very well to tea because it affects your body in both ways. People always say, well, I'm going to have a cup of tea and relax, right? But it has caffeine in it. Well, you know what? They're accessing the L-theanine component, that calming element in tea. And a lot of people say, well, I'm going to drink tea to meditate. That's what Zen monks in Japan do. It's because they're accessing that calming element in tea, which is the L-theanine. And so it's this magical plant that when you need it, it gives you energy. But when you also need to be calm, it also gives you that. And that's why it's such a wonderful plant.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much I could talk about this for 10 hours.
I bet.
But and on to kind of medicinal breath work. So this is the type of meditation that I practice. Medicinal breath work is a term that I've coined for it because that is really what it's about. It is also known as Qigong Meditation, which is the most predominantly practiced form of meditation in the Far East. So in China and Taiwan, Hong Kong, many parts of Japan, people are practicing Qigong meditation. And by the way, it's very, very similar. In fact, I would say it's almost identical to pranayama, which is the yogic tradition of breathwork. The Eastern traditions are all very similar. And the way that it works is that specifically for my practice is that it's very focused on health and physiology. So whereas a lot of meditations are focused on kind of, wisdom and compassion, or about self-empowerment, or about, reaching some sort of spiritual enlightenment, Qigong meditation is entirely concerned about your body, your health, and what's going on inside physiologically. So it's everything that's inside your body. And because of this, a lot of people find it easier to practice it. Because when you practice it, it's like, okay, I know going to the gym is very healthy for me. I'm going to go to the gym as much as I can so that I can be healthy. Well, this type of meditation, medicinal breathwork, is the same thing. You're going to do it because you're going to get health benefits. You're going to see results, physiological ones, versus, I'm doing this meditation because I want to reach enlightenment. It's very hard to measure that. It's very hard to make that tangible. And the way that you do it, the way that it works is when you are in a flight or fight mode, the so-called kind of sympathetic nervous system mode. What happens is your heart rate's elevated, your heart pressure, your blood pressure is elevated. When you see people get excited or when they get upset or mad, you see their faces flush. All the energy is kind of going up to their head. A lot of people get strokes. A lot of people get heart attacks because all of that energy is just rushing up. And you see people huffing and puffing, and they're like, I'm so angry. And you can try it. What happens is when you're upset and when you're stressed out, you inhale in a much more exaggerated way than you exhale. So, everyone here can try that. Just try going inhale. I mean, you can see it happening to me, right? When you go, I'm so mad, I'm gonna explode, right? That's all inhale, all inhale. And when you do that, your body is preparing itself to run or to fight for its life. That's why it's called the fight or flight mode, because genetically we're designed to be able to respond in that way when we interact with a threat. There's a lion chasing us, somebody's coming to rob us. We respond like that. But the problem is that a lot of us are living in a state of chronic stress. And Michele, you know all about this. I used to work 8 hours a day. I used to drink 3 double espressos a day, and I used to constantly fluctuate between, wow, I'm going to make tons of money, or wow, I'm going to get fired because my performance is terrible. That is a horrendous, state of being, of existence, and it killed me. I mean, it was killing me. And so that's called chronic stress. And so many people are in that kind of borderline state of chronic stress. You're probably not noticing it, but you're constantly excited. Your stress levels are elevated. Your cortisol levels are a lot of people have adrenal fatigue because of all the cortisol that's being produced. And so, right. But the amazing thing about medicinal breath work, about Qigong, is that you can do all the physical things that are the opposite of fight or flight. And it all starts with the breath. And so if getting upset makes you inhale more, Qigong meditation helps you focus on the exhale and on natural breathing. So and now we're going to go into the technique of how it's done. When you breathe naturally, so the first step is breathe naturally through the nose. When you breathe naturally, it is the way of breathing when you're not even paying attention to it. So let's just say, you and I, Michele, are engaged in casual conversation. Maybe we have a cup of tea and we're talking to each other, not in an excited conversation, but just regular conversation. That is how you're breathing naturally. And it's just soft in and out. You're not filling your lungs. You're not drawing out your breath or anything like that. It's just natural breathing. And so that's step one. Step two is that you focus on the exhale. On the inhale, don't think about anything at all. Just think about the exhale. And if everyone tries now, when you let out a sigh, what are you doing? You're exhaling. Nobody let out a sigh of anger. Everyone lets out a sigh of relief. That's relaxing and calming. And so imagine when you turn your practice into every breath being a breath of calming and a relaxation. And if you do that at a consistent level, on a dedicated level, that breath goes from a breath of calming to a breath of healing, a breath of medicine. And like I said, every time you breathe naturally, every time you exhale, you place your intent on the exhale. So there's more intention focused on it. And you place your focal point in your solar plexus. So the people that don't know where that is, your solar plexus is right here. It's where your two rib cages meet. That is the center of it, right here. You focus your attention there, your intent there. And what that does is that the energy in your body, it's called Qi or prana. It's the bioenergy in your body. When you sink it downwards away from your head and away from your heart into your solar plexus, you're actually taking that energy away from your heart. So it's not able to pump very fast or to generate huge amounts of blood pressure. It's taking the blood away from your head, the energy away from your mind, so that you are unable to engage in very intense, very kind of stressful, extremely emotionally extreme thoughts. And what that does is that it calms you, right? And so when you channel your intent there on every exhale, not only is the energy flowing downwards, you're also focusing fundamentally on the exhale, the breath that calms. And so I would recommend that everyone try this for, if possible, 20 minutes. That's ideal. I do it for 40 minutes. I mean, there are people that do it for longer, but with 10 minutes, it'll make a difference. Even with 5 minutes, it'll make a difference. The third step is to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. That's a very common thing that's done in yoga as well as in Qigong meditation. And the reason for that is that when your energy when your Qi is able to start to flow smoothly, what happens is that a circulation will form that goes down the front of your body, up the back of your spine, and it connects right at the position of your tongue. And it continues to flow down. And you'll see this tongue position in just about, every single sort of deep meditation out there is a critical component. And sit in a comfortable way without any tight clothing. Don't try to make your body super tight and upright, because that's actually creating more tension. As your body fills up with energy and Qi, it will naturally start to become a bit more erect. But, I wouldn't slouch. And don't wear any tight clothing, because it constricts the movement of Qi as well. I have a blog post about this, which I'd be happy to share with you. Maybe you can put it in the notes, that has every single step in a more detailed way. But
yeah, sure.
The most powerful thing I've done, that and the plants, it's incredibly powerful.
Wow. I've just been practicing what you've been saying while you've been doing it, and I feel much more peaceful right now, like just for a few minutes. So
totally. The other symptoms that you'll notice is that you might start to salivate. That's your kidney function really improving. Every time you salivate, you swallow the saliva and channel it into your solar plexus. Saliva helps you digest, right? And so when you turn on by the way, it's called the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the opposite of fight or flight. It's also called the rest and digest system. So when you practice this, you're turning on your rest and digest system, which is amazing because you're digesting better, your immunity is better, your reproductive health is better, your emotional health is better, your hormonal health is better. All of these things are things that get shut down when you're in flight or fight. When you're stressed out and you're ready to fight or flight, your body stops digesting, it ignores its immunity. You're no longer, focused on reproductive health. Everything is channeled into you fighting or flight or fighting is survival mode. So in rest and digest, all of these amazing faculties turn on. You start to salivate, and the saliva is an indication of that. People's eyes will also start to water a little bit. And that's, again, like the fluid creation. All of these things are healing your eyes. They're healing your adrenals, healing your kidneys. So those are two symptoms that you might notice. And a lot of people also notice a swelling or, a prickling or an itchiness in the solar plexus. Those are that's the energy that's starting to coagulate there, and all of the meridians and channels that it's starting to unblock. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
It's by far like the top 3 things I've ever done in my life. After I did this course on it about 10 years ago, I said, guys, I've fallen in love, I've gone to college education, this Qigong meditation. Those are like the top 3 things like I've ever done. Mm-hmm. And of course there were like friends and family. Well, let's just say like the top 5 things. Yeah,
that's really, really helpful because like you said, everyone has chronic stress. And I know my audience, we have to we can't ignore it. Like maybe some parts of the population can, but for us, that's a huge part of our healing. And so I think this will be a great tool to use.
Oh, huge. If we could just eliminate chronic stress from our lives, I mean, like, gosh, can you imagine the amount of good? I mean, obviously the diet is huge as well, but those 2 things. And by the way, this practice, medicinal breathwork, you can do it in your car. You can do it watching TV. It's not going to be as good, but it's going to be much better than doing nothing. You can do it when you're listening to an audiobook, and just like those exact steps. You exhale naturally into your solar plexus and put the tongue on the roof of your mouth. That's it. Like literally, you can do that. In any number of situations. Sometimes I'm in boring meetings, I do it. Sometimes before I get up on stage to talk, I do it because it calms me like crazy. Sometimes I'm too calm when I'm on stage. People are like, whoa, like, did you just, eat a Xanax or something? Like it's very powerful stuff.
Well, that's what I would imagine, like in acute manners of stress, like if you're about to go into a meeting, you have to give a presentation or you just got cut off or something, it could probably help you calm down pretty quickly as well.
Completely. Because the moment you get excited and upset or angry, all of that energy is rising up and you can feel it, you can imagine it. It's like, when you're about to lose it, everything just boom, like, you're about to blow, right? That's why they say it's about to blow. You're about to blow your top because all of that energy is coming straight up there. And so when you do this practice, you're letting everything sink down. And so this is actually one of the most important tricks in Tai Chi as well, which I practice. It's the martial art. They always say, sink your chi, sink your chi. And by sinking your chi, you're sinking it downwards so that you become very fluid, you become very relaxed. And your opponent, because it's a martial art, they can't sense your intention. They can't sense where you're going to strike. And when they do strike you, you're able to react in a very kind of, symbiotic way, so that they're not able to inflict force on you. It just rolls into you. That's done through syncing with the chi. It prevents conflict.
Yeah. Well, this has been fascinating, and I'm so happy you've been here to share this with us. I really think it's going to help a lot of us, especially me. I think I will definitely be practicing this.
Yeah, I'm so happy you invited me here, Michele. This has been a great opportunity, and I love, as you can see, like I'm obsessed with this stuff and love talking about it.
I would be too if I were you. tell us where we can find out more about like the tea and anything else about you or.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can learn all about Pique Tea on our website, piquetea.com. It's a tea that is really designed for health benefits to help everybody unlock the health benefits of tea. It's cold brew extracted into a crystalline form. And so it dissolves immediately in cold or hot water. But the more important benefit is that it has 12 times the antioxidants of regular tea because of the way that we've extracted it. It's all done at low temperature. The second most important thing is that we also triple screen for toxins. So our tea is all screened for heavy metals, pesticides, and toxic mold. This is a very, very stringent level of screening that we bring to our products. And few other teas do that, even though these kind of harmful elements are very common in tea. So piquetea.com, and I believe that we have a special offer for your fans, which we'll link to in the Facebook post. And the place where you can learn all about breathwork is in a blog post that I wrote, which is also in mindbodygreen.com. But I will also link those in the either on your website or in the post.
Yeah, we will link those. I wanted to show people too, just because I've never been the biggest tea drinker, just because I can't stand when I drink tea and you steep it with a tea bag and it gets cold. So I just want to show, they come in these little, let's see, I can get the camera here, right? Come in these little packets like this, and I just have some plain water in here, and the tea crystals just come out like that, and then you just can stir it, and you can do it in hot or cold. But you just stir it like this, and you see you have a beverage right away. So you can still have hot tea, and it tastes like consistent the whole way over, which I like. That's what sold me on it at first. Like, I mean, I love the medicinal benefits and the health benefits and everything like that. But it's just, I will actually drink tea because of this. Whereas if you had tea bags, I would have been like, yeah, whatever. If that makes sense, hopefully. I like the convenience factor, because then I can just put them wherever I want, and I don't have to worry about the trash and all of that as well. So I had to share them.
Nobody likes a dripping tea bag.
No, I just don't.
Yeah. Not to mention, it doesn't taste very good.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, that tea, by the way, won a gold medal. It was one of our 3 submissions to the 2018 Global Tea Championships, and all 3 won gold medals. We're the first company.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they have some great flavor. So
yeah, check it out.
I applaud you for that, for figuring that all out.
Thank you. And the real goal is to try to get people to drink enough tea so that it makes a difference to the health benefits. Doctors actually recommend 3 or more cups of tea a day for health benefits. Every single study that's ever been done on tea has a certain amount. They're not just, randomly drink whatever you want, or, drink one once a week and then we'll study the benefits. No, I mean, they all have a certain amount, and it roughly equates to 3 or more cups a day for every single study that's observed health benefits in tea. And unfortunately, most people, because of our busy lives, because of perhaps the tea bag experience and its complication, we don't do that. Very few people who consider themselves tea drinkers actually drink 3 cups a day. And so Pique is really meant to facilitate that, because, it tastes great. There's no brewing required, and it's safe to drink, and it's very effective because of the polyphenol content.
I have definitely drank a lot more since I've started drinking your tea. I have to admit that. So
that's wonderful to hear.
Yeah, no, it's been great. And now that it's starting to get cold here, I'm in Denver, or outside of Denver, and it's 35 degrees here today. So I will be drinking maybe like 6 cups a day.
That's great. Try doing black in the morning. So we've come out with the Pique protocol. It's black tea in the morning because it's amazing for gut health. It's English breakfast is a black tea. So the tradition in the West, in Europe, as well as in Asia, is to start the day with black tea because it helps your digestion. It helps you become very regular. It's amazing for gut health. And then in the afternoon, what we suggest is the green tea. Because it will help extend your energy all the way through to the evening so that you don't feel tired. It also helps suppress appetite. It actually suppresses the hunger hormone ghrelin. So you don't feel like, oh my God, like I'm going to open a bag of chips or have some chocolate in the afternoon, which, we all do. And it actually helps you burn the calories from your lunch, because of a process called thermogenesis. It's actually the way your body generates heat. Green tea catechins increases thermogenesis. So you're burning calories, you're sustaining energy, and you're getting a little immune boost as well, right? So, most people get tired and weak in the afternoons as the day progresses. You've had a long day, maybe you got up early. And then in the evening, herbal tea is the best. And we have 3 herbal teas, the ginger, rooibos, and hibiscus. They're all great for different things that are very suitable for healing at night as you go to bed. And obviously they're caffeine free, so they're perfect for the evening. So, that's the Pique protocol: black in the morning, green in the afternoon, and herbal at night. And then you get your 3 cups a day and you're done.
Great. I have to start doing that one.
Try it out.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, I really, really thank you for coming on today. I appreciate it. And I think everyone's going to find this really, really beneficial. And again, I put it in a link in the description, but it's thrivingonpaleo.com/tea. And you'll be able to get up to 2 free cartons with their already discounted bundles and free shipping. So if you're interested in that, definitely go check that out. So I don't think I have anything else. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Simon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michele. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and very grateful for you to bring me here.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Okay, see you soon.
So as you can see, that was really easy. Just 3 steps, and you can do it anywhere. So I think it's something that's really going to help you in those moments of either acute or chronic stress, to try to help calm yourself down and get out of that cycle of being in like high cortisol, high stress. And I know for a lot of us, that's an issue. So I hope that helps. And again, if you want to try the tea, which I think is fantastic, go to thrivingonpaleo.com/tea, or I will link to it below. And that's it. I'll see you on Friday.